Hi everybody, welcome back, and yeah, time to get our low friction fix on Friday. Get ready for the weekend. Now you may notice my microphone looks different to normal. Still having some issues with the computer fan speed. They're still running flat out. I've just spent the last hour trying to work out what is going on. Probably should have been doing this throughout the prevailing week, but weeks are busy, time does fly. I've got a weird thing where the CPU is not really taxed at all. It's running at about 17%. Yet the cores, so cores 1 through 8, are running at about 80 degrees Celsius. Core 2, I'm just having a look, it went up to 85. So not sure why the cores are running so hot, which is causing the fan to go flat out. Checking out Task Manager, nothing's really jumping out. Again, the CPU is running not taxed at all. Something's going on. So I have tried to acoustically shield my little microphone here from the fan noise, so hopefully that will not turn up too much on the video. We will see. So apologies if it does, but I will chip away each week and see if I can not have my computer melt down in between. Oh yeah, and while I remember, apologies on the last video, annoyingly a couple of clips did not come across into the edit, which was, a bugger. They were the inspection of the actual ultrasonic solutions and how much sort of, I guess, more visible it was on the foil test that they really get some action going. My computer crashed twice last time during doing the filming and editing, and just things did not go smoothly, and something happened in the final export there. Fingers crossed for today. The way it's running at the moment, I am not sure if it will not give me a similar problem, but I'll do my very best with what we have. Okay, let's rip into some quick low friction updates this week. The first one, well done to Shane Miller, also known as GP Llama. He's kind of like the Australian version of, I guess, DC Rainmaker. So he does great detailed testing and reviews of especially sort of trainer power meters, but also power meters and in general sort of gadgets in the cycling world. So just he's the first person I ask if I'm looking at a particular power meter for a particular bike as to whether that is going to be worth the money or not. So if you haven't been following him, he's a great channel to follow. He's a gun cyclist, and he's recently uploaded a video just with regards to his own experience with immersive waxing. He was using the combination approach of Silka Hot Melt Wax and Silka's SS Drip in between, and so he's done the update on how that has gone after 3 years and 15,000 kilometers of pretty groovy gravel cycling. So I'll put a link in the description of this video to that one from Shane. It's definitely one of the better or best sort of, not directly in the space, independent channel reviews of the world of trying out immersive waxing. So a bunch of channels do obviously put out lots of videos on things like, is waxing worth it? I tried waxing for 6 months, here's what I found, all that sort of stuff. They vary quite a lot with regards to, I think, how accurate or biased or unbiased they may be. This is a great one for a really, excellent insight from a completely independent, unbiased person with regards to chain lubrication and how that went. So check out that video and check out his channel. It's a grand old time. Alright, and I'll make that actually the one and only low friction update before ripping into today's actual main topic of the detail review of the Finish Line ceramic wax lube. All busy this week as always. I was out for most of yesterday doing a very long gravel training ride with a friend in the lead up to have a 100-mile gravel event coming up. So I should actually put some hours in towards that, or that will be a really rough day out. It'll probably be somewhere between a 7 to 8 hour day, so just doing 2-hour training rides will probably leave me a little bit short. So trying to get off my butt and train a little bit more for that. And my awesome retail manager Andrew, he's actually off most of today. He's zooming up to Melrose as I'm recording this for a 6-hour cross-country marathon event. So yeah, it's all good times on bikes at ZFC. but boy oh boy, the weeks do fly by. So that'll do, and let's rip into what is going on with Finish Line and their ceramic wax lube. Okay, as always for the detailed reviews, first we will have a look at what the marketing or manufacturer claims are for the product, and then we'll be able to have a look at the testing to see how they stacked up to the claims. So Finish Line, they're not really too over the top with regards to the marketing claims as such, but there'll definitely be some things that we can, I guess, have a bit of a closer look at. So in short, we've got Finish Line Ceramic Wax Lube is an advanced wax-based bicycle chain lubricant that ensures total drivetrain cleanliness without the distance compromise that other wax lubricants require. Ceramic Wax Lube has even been used by one of Finish Line's World Tour teams in dry weather races of 120 miles. Ceramic Wax Lube is the perfect choice for serious cyclists who want to minimize the amount of time they spend on drivetrain maintenance and maximize the amount of time they spend in the saddle. Every time ceramic wax is applied to the chain, the ceramic coating is enhanced, ultimately providing the durability of many oil-based lubricants. With Finish Line ceramic wax, there is no wetness or stickiness on your chain or parts, so dirt and abrasive grime are not absorbed into the lubricating film. By avoiding abrasive wear, parts run more smoothly and last much longer. Ceramic wax is engineered to not build up over time. Alrighty, I'll pause that one there. We'll also try to have a bit of a listen to the Finish Line video on ceramic wax and see what they've got to say there.
Ceramic wax lube is the best way to keep your chain clean and efficient. Ceramic wax lube is our premium lubricant that combines our wax technology with our ceramic boron nitride ingredient. After studying a number of different types of lubricating technologies, we determined that ceramic lubricants were perfect for chain lubes. Ceramic wax lube is so special in the fact that every time you apply it to the chain, it actually conditions the chain, leaving more and more ceramic boron nitride particles, which reduces the likelihood of the chain becoming contaminated with dirt and dust, making maintenance a lot less of a hassle. Clean chains are fast chains. Enabling the chain to remain clean while adding boron nitride to it provides the most efficient and fast lubricant you can get.
Alrighty, I have delved into this topic before in more depth, so I'll do a much more surface level sort of overview on my thoughts today. To date, I have seen really zero indication or evidence that ceramic lubricants are anything other than just a marketing gimmick. And again, the burden of proof isn't on zero friction cycling. The burden of proof is obviously on the manufacturers that are putting the products out to the market. We just really I haven't seen anyone ever using a ceramic lubricant product get anything other than just, very average lifespan of their chain at best, often below. If there was something to it, they should be obviously getting some fairly impressive lifespan from their great chain lubricant. We don't really have a lot of information from the manufacturers that have ceramic lubricants on the market, really, as to, any proof from them. So if ceramic was all that and a bag of chips, why isn't it in everything that they're doing? Why is it only in some certain selected products? Some have it in dry, some have it in wet. It should be fairly all pervasive. There's not really any information as to how it actually works. So, what percentage or what level of content, is there of the boron nitride in their product? What is the carrier? And how is it actually working that it's leaving behind this wonderful film of ceramic that's preventing the metal on metal wear, of the chain. So, ceramic lubricants have been out for a fair while now. Really, if there was anything to it, I think there's been a lot of time to be able to prove that there's something. And really, we've seen that with the advent of I guess, other friction modifiers that have come to the fore in the last sort of 5 years, such as tungsten disulfide, which is in a number of waxes, as well as drip lubricant, both wax and wet, graphite and graphene. They've been kind of getting really the spotlight for a little while now, and if we look at pretty much, I guess, the top sort of 10 to 15 lubricants tested, pretty much, the vast majority of those of that sort of 10 to 15 will have either tungsten or graphite or graphene in them, or strongly suspected to have those additives in there if they're not explicitly stated, because they're being sort of secret squirrels. I haven't focused on testing a lot of ceramic lubricants because there's just no call to do so. There's no great evidence to show that this is, there's a chance that one of these products is going to be a top product that we find to then stock and recommend. I'd love for a manufacturer again to prove me incorrect. If a manufacturer believes that their ceramic lubricant product is all that and a bag of chips and that I should test it, then obviously I would love for them to email and we can talk about it. I'll obviously have a bunch of questions that I'll ask them. I'd like to get some more detailed information from them with regards to the claims, and then if the questions are answered even remotely satisfactorily, then I will look to tee one up for a test. But in short, really, I've seen absolutely zero indication that ceramic is anything other than a marketing gimmick when it comes to bicycle chain lubrication. If you've had different experience, certainly let me know as well, but yes, I would love for a manufacturer to contact me and prove me wrong, but at this stage, that's the only, I guess, sort of category I can class ceramic lubricants in at this time. Let's go and have a look at the results to see if this particular case, if my worries hold any sway. Alrighty, let's have a quick look. I've sorted this by block 1, so it's just the first 1,000 kilometers of the test, with normally 3 lubrications in total in that 1,000 kilometers. Let's just have a quick look at the top ones in the league table here. We've got Rex Black Diamond Wax, which we believe the additive in that is graphite. MCB Wax original formula was moly and PTFE. The new formula is tungsten disulfide. Hot Wax X is graphene, specifically nanine in that case. Silka Synergetic is tungsten disulfide. Silka Hot Melt is tungsten disulfide. 4+1 mix, same as 11+1. For Rex Black Diamond, Silka Synergy, tungsten disulfide. Effetto Mariposa's Flower Power Wax, that is really great job there using the power of flowers. UFO Drip, absolutely, in all honesty, I have no idea, they will never tell me, but my guess, and this is purely a guess, is that it's likely to be graphene or something along those lines. Rex Black Diamond is graphene, or the graphite, which we believe they use in the wax, in their liquid wax there. Super Secret Drip is tungsten disulfide. So out of the top, what have we got? 12. Basically, we've got pretty well sort of 10 confirmed to be what I was mentioning before. 1 moly and PTFE, and 1 we really don't know with ceramic speed, but we know what it's likely to be. Oh, sorry, 1 less than that because of the flower power sneaking in there to give the fancy friction modifier ones a run for their money. So, having a look, so I have tested Muc-Off's C3 Ceramic Dry. Let me sort that by a bit deeper in the test, sort that to where it sort of went through to. So by end of test for Muc-Off C3 Ceramic Dry, by far the best Muc-Off lubricant that I've tested. Their high-end stuff has been quite an interesting story if you've been following any of sort of ZSC stuff on Muc-Off. But we can see it's basically down at 28th out of 39 lubricants tested to date. So, it's not terrible as such. Sure isn't amazing. It is a long way from the top tested lubricants, which, it isn't a great case for ceramic being all that and a bag of chips. I sort back by block 1 because in this particular case, believe it or not, block 1 is as far as Finish Line Ceramic Wax made it. This was the most horrendous test for an actual lubricant that has been conducted to date. So yeah, I really was not expecting it to go this poorly. So the only one, that's tested below Finish Line Ceramic Wax was the first test when I tested Wend Wax. I should redo the Wend Wax test detail review on video, because that was overall quite something. Wend Wax, all this is removed off the website these days, or quite a while ago. I should have really screen captured a lot. Silly me for not thinking of it back then. But basically, Wend Wax launched with the marketing of a race. Basically, you rub this wax on your chain and you have a race ready chain in seconds. So no faff with melting wax in, no danger, because immersive waxing is so dangerous, same as boiling your kettle. And the questions were put to them. So I questioned, obviously, before I tested, with regards to if we have a solid, because it is a solid, rubbed onto the outside of the chain, how does that solid get to the pin deep inside the chain where we need lubrication? That was not really answered, and the test of that went obviously extremely poorly. It was almost the same as testing with no lubricant. So massage it in as best as I could. We obviously managed to get some underneath the roller, but none made it to the pin. And I mean, it just sounded horrendous. It sounded exactly like a chain, basically, with no lubrication. So then Wend had said, you must need the advanced application technique where you dissolve the wax in with their special wax solvent. So we did that, and then it was less horrendous, but now we have a faffy 2-step process to dissolve your wax in, when you can just buy pre-mix wax lubricants that do a vastly better job and for vastly cheaper. So that's the sort of quick segue. Wend, not my favorite product in the world, nor my, I guess, sort of favorite with regards to marketing honesty and accuracy, in my opinion. So really the only one to sort of give that initial Wend wax test a bit of a shake has been the Finish Line Ceramic Wax. So it was quite unreal. I applied it fairly generously. Within not even 100 kilometers of the test, the chain was sounding very poor. Starting to sound like there was really no lubricant left. So I basically had to reapply extremely generously. I used 2 60-ounce bottles just to get through the first 1,000, or block 1, 1,000 kilometers. And even though I used a total of basically 120 mil of Finish Line Ceramic Wax, applying as per their instructions, but very generously, we still have basically the most horrendous wear rate recorded, almost as if we weren't lubricating the chain. Okay, so that was pretty much all she wrote. There was absolutely no point continuing the test after block 1. So even though it hadn't reached the 100% of its wear rate allowance, it was not going to survive at all in block 2 to record such an enormously high wear rate just in the clean block 1, despite using 120 mil of lubricant to make it 1,000 kilometers. It is just going to die 1,000 deaths very quickly. So there's no point testing it in any further in block 2. Obviously, my test result is quite at odds with Finish Line's claims that they have World Tour teams, riding it up to 120 miles. Even 120 miles, that's not a massive claim to make. It should be able to at least do that. Really, there's, I would say, extremely few products on the market that do not have a lifespan of around, sort of the 200 kilometer mark of dry road conditions as a minimum, to meet. Shorter than 200 kilometers dry road is getting really, really short. It's quite interesting. Let's have a look at another product on their website. Okay, so this is the non-ceramic version of the product that I tested. Of note here, you can see in the marketing claim, so great for off-road rides in the dry, dusty conditions and on-road rides in dry conditions up to 50 miles. Now, I don't know. 50 miles, maybe that was impressive in 1830. I've not seen, a claim of sort of treatment lifespan that short, ever. It is obviously potentially likely that a number of manufacturer lifespan claims are a little bit optimistic, and perhaps they're well under what they're claiming. But I certainly haven't seen a marketing claim of a treatment of up to 50 miles. Now, sort of ironically, so I was reapplying in the main test basically every 100 kilometers. Normally in that block 1, with very few exceptions, and those exceptions are noted. The chain is prepped and lubricated. It is then run for 400 kilometers in the large chainring to simulate a flat ride interval. It is relubricated. It is then run for 200 kilometers in the small chainring, and then relubricated and run another 400 kilometers in the large chainring. Each interval basically ranges between 10 and 12 hours depending on the cog, because they rotate through. So you're looking at sort of a 10 to 12 hour run time per interval for a total of 34 hours to get through the test block 1. So most of the tests, it's 34 hours of running at 250 watts with a total of 3 lubrication points. So this had 10 at basically sort of around sort of 10 to 12 mil per application, because I used 120 mil to get through block 1. That's a 10 mil application. That is a heavy application. So to me it's a little bit suspicious that I was just stretching it to 100 kilometers, which is similar to the 50 mile claim here, in what are obviously pretty perfect conditions in block 1, indoors in a lovely air purified workshop. So it would appear that the addition of the ceramic to this product is not doing anything amazing. It is possible that there is a token amount of boron nitride added to this, the basic finish line wax bike lubricant, so that they can claim a ceramic wax, but it's not really sort of doing too much there. I would be fascinated if anyone has been using either finish line wax or the finish line ceramic wax. How did you find it, and did you find that you more or less had to have a setup where this was constantly dripping on your chain to actually go for a decent ride and make it to the end? It is honestly extraordinary to have a lubricant of that enormously short treatment lifespan in this day and age. Finish Line, I believe they founded in 1988. I would imagine that perhaps this product line hasn't seen any R&D and improvement since about 1988. Most other things in life have seen some sort of notable steps forward since 1988 until today. I am not entirely sure if much of the Finish Line lubricant lineup is in that category. Now obviously Finish Line, if they do watch this video and listen to that sort of last few sentences, they'd probably be upset. So again, to all the hard-working peoples at the Finish Line that want to be proud in the company they're working for, I apologise if that was hard. I don't mean to be obviously a bit of a bastard on things. I'd love to be proven wrong on a whole bunch of stuff. And my impression, and I hope I'm wrong, but my impression is that sort of Finish Line does fall into a category of potentially a pretty sort of legacy manufacturer in the bicycling industry space. There's potentially living off their, I guess, legacy brand name. They established at a time when there weren't as many players on the field. It's a little bit easier, I think, from back then to grow to a pretty big, strong name of long standing. So that is what a lot of bike stores are going to stock. It's just that big brand name that a lot of people just sort of, I guess, have a baseline, sort of tacit trust that it's likely to be a good product. And and there we have it. So I am just not sure though, and I'd love for them to contact me if they're upset, or contact me anyway, and I guess have a chat, or let me know really what they have been up to and what they have been doing with regards to product updates and R&D. Do they have a fairly modern product that they can substantiate to some degree that it is a really high performing product? And if that's the case, then I would, for sure like to get that one queued up for a test, because I don't want to just have a blanket. Look, I think that all of their products are just decades outdated and likely not to be very good, because I don't know. There could be some of their products that are very either recently updated or relatively recent to the market, and that they may actually be a good product. I just don't have, unfortunately, any good information to sort of substantiate that point of view at this time, and really Finish Line are going to have to be the ones to give me some of that information that substantiate they have a product worth looking at, and that they are competitive in this day and age, and not that they were maybe competitive back in the 1990s only. So really that's about a wrap for this test. There's just 0 point going through obviously any block by block. We've only got one block, and that one block was horrendous, and the observations of it during the test were as bad as I has ever. When the only lubricant that has tested worse than that is a solid rubbed on the outside, so basically no lubrication inside, that is your only one that is tested lower than the product, despite me throwing a fair amount of lubricant at the chain, vastly more than anything ever before it, and it still could barely make it through 100 kilometers and still have such a massive wear rate at the end of the first test block. I really don't know what I can sort of say or how to put any positive sort of light on this at all. And that's why I'm fascinated if anyone out there has been using this product, how their experience matches what the ZFC control test is, because if I was to go for a ride with this, I would be carrying a bottle in my back pocket and stopping about every 20 kilometers to throw a whole bunch more on. I just don't know how it's an actual usable product. And yeah, that is certainly something that we don't say too often. So obviously there's no cost to run modelings or anything like that. It is impossible to extrapolate the costs from that little data. The only information really that I can give you if you're using this product is that it is likely your cost to run will be high. Although the cost of a bottle is not very expensive, you are going to go through a pretty enormous amount of it to try to keep your chain lubricated, if I can kind of call that result lubrication. And if you are experiencing, even if it is not as bad as what we have in the ZFC test, even if you are experiencing half the wear rate that I attained in that block 1 test, even if you're experiencing a quarter of the wear rate somehow, that's still a really high wear rate. And if you are running components that have any decent cost to them, it's just going to really hurt. And if you're on higher tier components, wow, that is going to come back to bite you when you take your bike in for a service and they say, hey, guess what, your chain is completely buggered, and a lot of damage, you need a new cassette, and likely a lot of damage to your chain rings, you may be needing a new set of those as well. That is a big bill of ouch that could best be avoided by using something not testing like that product. Alright, yep, so let's wrap it there. Sorry again, Finish Line, I know that's a rough one. I do have a contact at Finish Line I will send this video to. And if they do come back and we have a bit of a chat, hopefully I'll be able to update with any information from the chat. And if they hopefully have a good product they can nominate that I can test, and that I can hopefully do a review of a Finish Line lubricant that is actually a high performing lubricant. I really actually much prefer doing happy stories and having happy conversations as opposed to stuff like this It's not my natural comfort space to hang a whole bunch of crap on a product or a company. For me, it really has to be pretty bad and really warrant it for me to sort of step into that space. But again, where do you go with that test result despite that much lubricant added in such a short space of time? I don't know where else to go with what to sort of wrap with the review. So yeah, again, if you're a proud finish line worker, I apologise. I'm sure your company is doing some cool stuff, and I hope to find out what that cool stuff is, and hopefully I can have a bit of a change of mindset as to sort of where I've got finish line kind of sitting in my mind at the moment with regards to the lubricant products. Hopefully things are more modern and competitive than I think. Yay, thanks everyone. Yeah, I will be back hopefully next week. I will actually be able to delve into a deeper topic, the one I've sort of been intimating with regards to going deep on the world of non-round rings. It's also going to give me a bit of a chance to discuss questions that come up. So you may have heard over time that myself and other channels that are talking about drivetrain efficiency and chain efficiency, that there are efficiency gains for running a larger chain ring, not only because of the lesser articulation at the chain ring and that you're going to be running a larger cog for the given gear inches, but you're also going to have a lower tension in the top span of the chain. So if you've got a lower tension in the top span of the chain, doesn't that mean that there's less force going to what's pulling the back wheel forwards? How do you not kind of lose power to the back wheel by running very large chain rings? You've got a lesser mechanical leverage of the chain ring to with relation to the crank arm length. Whole bunch of stuff that we can sort of delve into, as well as does making your chain ring not round give you an advantage, or potentially give you an advantage? So obviously the companies that make non-round rings have their own sort of testing that they have commissioned, and obviously they need to do that to help support the claims. We'll have a bit of a look at some of just the basic physics and logic behind this stuff, and at the end of it we'll see if we can come up with a decent opinion outcome, and whether or not you agree with that opinion outcome and the sort of the physics behind it. And it should be a bit of a fun one. Goodness knows how long that one will be. I'm going to work really hard next Friday. I'm going to try to start early and spend a bit more time doing retakes and cuts and edits to try to get that to something not insane, because you know how I am with any topic of detail. All right, if you've enjoyed or enjoying the content, I always meant to remember to remind you on this, please like, subscribe and share with your friends, all that fun stuff. Go out and have a great low friction weekend of cycling. Hope the weather is awesome. I'm looking forward to the final round of the CX Winter Series on Sunday. So see if I stay upright, which is always my challenge. All right, till the next one. Bye.